When the Dallas Cowboys drafted Jaden Blue this year, a lot of folks in Cowboys Nation felt that spark of curiosity. You know that feeling when a pick drops later than expected, but you get the sense there's something there? That's what Jaden Blue brought to the table. And right out of the gate, let me tell you, the kid's got serious juice. His feet are quick, his burst is electric, and when he hits the corner, there's a sudden pop that just makes you sit up and pay attention. You can already see that home run speed just waiting to break loose. Now look, no one's saying he's going to come in and be the next Emmitt Smith or carry the ball 20 times a game right away. That's not what this is about. But if you watched rookie Tony Pollard back in the day when he first burst onto the scene, that lightning change of pace back who gave defenses something new to think about, that's the type of impact Jaden Blue can have. Maybe not a 1,000-yard season right out the gate, but definitely one of those guys who, when he's on the field, something's about to happen. That type of spark plug. And let me tell you something that really stands out. The guy is working. Whether it's reaction timing drills, cutting and agility work, or even fine-tuning coordination using ping-pong balls, you can tell this isn't just someone who's sitting back waiting for a shot. He's out there earning it. And as a fan, when I see a young cowboy grinding like that, man, I can't help but root for him. Now, let me ask you this. Do you think Jaden Blue has what it takes to be that next breakout running back for Dallas? Drop your take in the comments. I want to see how many of y'all are riding the blue wave with me early. And listen, if you're here right now, still tuned in and loving this kind of deep Cowboys talk, go ahead and hit that like button for me. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button and help us hit our next big goal. 15,000 subscribers strong, all repping the star. It's free. It helps the channel grow, and it means you'll never miss a moment like this. All right, now that we've set the stage, let's get into the real conversation. What Coach Anthony Lynn had to say, and why his words about Jaden Blue's fumbling history might actually give Cowboys fans reason to feel even better about this pick than they did on draft day. Now, let's get into what really sparked this whole conversation. The comments made by Anthony Lynn, a respected running backs coach, and a voice you want to pay attention to when it comes to evaluating young talent. He had some thoughts on Jaden Blue's college tape, particularly the concerns surrounding his ability to hold on to the football. And that's something a lot of scouts, analysts, and fans zeroed in on leading up to the draft. The fumbles. The dreaded ball security issue. Lynn didn't hold back. He came right out and said, look, one of Jaden Blue's biggest knocks coming into the league was that earlier in the 2024 season, he had a fumbling problem at Texas. But here's where things get interesting. And honestly, why it's so important to listen to coaches who have been around the game. Because rather than labeling Blue as a fumbler, Lynn gave context. He asked the same question that a lot of us probably did. Was this a long-term issue or something that just flared up temporarily? And the answer? Before the 2024 season, Blue had only fumbled twice in his college career. That's not a red flag. That's a hiccup. What happened in 2024 was more of an anomaly than a pattern. Lynn went on to point out that after the early season struggles, after those 3 fumbles, Jaden didn't put the ball on the ground again for the rest of the season. That's not just a stat, that's growth. That's the kind of response coaches want to see. And the way Lynn phrased it really stuck with me. He said, let's not beat guys up for failing. Failing is part of the process of being a winner. That's the kind of coach you want developing young backs, right? Someone who sees mistakes not as a label, but as a learning moment. And when Jaden Blue stopped fumbling after those first few games, that was a sign he was learning. He was adjusting. He wasn't letting the problem define him. Now let me throw this to you. Do you believe a fumbling problem early in a season should hang over a player's entire career? Vote down in the comments, yes or no. I want to see how forgiving Cowboys Nation really is when it comes to rookies who hit a rough patch. Because here's the thing. We can't ignore the issue completely, but we also can't ignore the fact that he fixed it. He heard the criticism, and he responded. That's what you want in a pro. That's the kind of mindset that can make a difference in a locker room, especially on a team like the Cowboys that's always under the national microscope. And if you're vibing with this breakdown so far, do me a quick favor. Tap that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're on the road to 15K subscribers, and every single one of y'all who joins makes this community stronger. We do these kinds of deep dives daily, and I want you on board for all of it. Now that we've heard what Lynn had to say and put that fumbler label into proper context, let's take it a step further. Because when you actually look at the numbers, Jaden Blue's story becomes a whole lot more interesting and a lot more encouraging for Cowboys fans. So here's where things start to shift. Once Anthony Lynn's comments got me thinking, I couldn't help but wonder, how bad was Jaden Blue's fumbling issue at Texas really? I mean, if we're going to judge a guy based on a narrative, we might as well do the work and check the actual facts. So I went digging. I wanted to see what the stats really said, not just the headlines or the reactions. And what I found? Man, it might flip the whole conversation. Let's lay it all out. In 2024, Jaden Blue fumbled the ball 5 times. That number, by itself, yeah, it sounds like a concern. But now let's balance that with what else he did that season. He had 14 total touchdowns and averaged 5.4 yards per carry. 14 trips to the end zone and over 5 yards every time he touched the ball. That's not just decent, that's dynamic. That's production that screams, get this guy on the field. So now we're looking at this from a new angle. You've got a guy who had 5 fumbles but gave you 14 touchdowns and was averaging chunks of yardage on nearly every carry. What's the real risk-to-reward ratio here? Because if you can clean up that one area, and it looks like he already started doing that mid-season, then you've got something special. You've got someone who can flip a game with one play. And here's something else I found, and this is key. Turns out, Blue's fumbling issue wasn't exactly unique. It wasn't even isolated. According to several Longhorns reports, that same 2024 Texas offense had a team-wide fumbling problem. That's right, it wasn't just Blue. It was happening across the roster. The game that really put a spotlight on Blue was against Kentucky. He had multiple fumbles in that one. But guess what? Texas fumbled the ball 6 times in that same game. The Wildcats only recovered 2 of those, but 6 fumbles total? That's not a player issue anymore. That's a systemic issue. That's coaching, preparation, maybe even a lack of emphasis on fundamentals across the board. So before we go labeling Jaden Blue as unreliable or risky, we've got to consider the full picture. He was part of a team where everyone had their hands slipping off the ball, and despite that, he still produced. He still exploded for touchdowns. He still kept that yards per carry average north of 5. And here's what really made me sit up. The Longhorns, as a team, lost 9 fumbles over the course of 11 games. That's nearly 1 a game. And again, not all from Blue. When you look at it through that lens, his individual performance doesn't look nearly as alarming. If anything, it looks like he was caught in a situation where ball security wasn't being drilled or prioritized across the team. Let me throw it to you. After hearing these stats, does that change the way you view Jaden Blue's fumbling issue? Let me know in the comments. Are you more confident now, or are you still concerned it might carry over to the NFL? Because here's what I'm thinking. The Cowboys already knew about this issue before drafting him. They saw the tape, heard the concerns, and made a calculated decision. And now they've got the full off-season to work with him, focus on technique, and help him lock in on that high and tight grip. And hey, if you appreciate this kind of analysis, going deeper than the surface level takes, then go ahead and hit that like button. And make sure you're subscribed, because here on Cowboys News TV, we're committed to getting to the truth behind the headlines. And we're pushing hard for 15,000 true fans to ride with us every step of the way. Next up, we're going to dig even deeper, not just into Blue himself, but into that Texas program and what it says about how issues like this develop in the first place. Because sometimes, it's not just about the player. It's about the environment they came from. Now let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention. The environment a player comes from. Because yeah, we've gone over the stats, we've seen the tape, and we've talked about how Jaden Blue had a fumbling issue in 2024. But what if that wasn't entirely on him? What if the bigger issue was how the University of Texas as a program was preparing its guys to protect the ball? Think about that game against Kentucky again. 6 fumbles by Texas in a single matchup. 6. That's not just bad luck or isolated mistakes. That's a sign something fundamental wasn't being drilled the way it should have been. And if you look at the total for the season, 9. Lost fumbles in 11 games, it backs up that idea even more. There's no way all of that falls on the shoulders of one player. That's on the system. And I'm not trying to throw the Texas coaching staff under the bus. But let's be real. When multiple players on a roster have the same technical flaw, that's not just a player problem. That's a practice problem. That's a development problem. It means those details, the ones that really separate good from great at the next level, weren't being hammered home like they should have been. And it matters, especially for a position like running back where ball security is everything. Jaden Blue even talked about the issue himself. He said the fumbles usually came when he had the ball in his left hand, that he naturally carries it low and needs to be more intentional about keeping it high and tight. That kind of self-awareness? That's exactly what you want to hear from a young back. He's not dodging responsibility. He's not making excuses. He's owning it, understanding it, and already talking about how to correct it. That says maturity. That says growth. Even Texas head coach Steve Sarkisian addressed it. He admitted that repetition and muscle memory were key parts of the problem and the solution. He compared it to a batter in a slump or a shooter going cold. The talent is there, but it's about reinforcing the fundamentals and keeping the confidence up. Sark even said his job as a coach was to get players in the right frame of mind to succeed. Which honestly just proves the point. If Blue was struggling with something technical, it was up to the staff to coach him through it. Clearly, that process was still ongoing. So if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you look at all that and say, all right, we're bringing this guy into a new system, a professional system, with pro coaches, a pro locker room, and expectations that are light years beyond what he saw in college. Let's give him a fresh slate. And that's the mindset every fan should have right now. Now, I want your take on this. Do you think college coaching staffs deserve some of the blame when their players come into the league with fundamental issues like ball security? Drop your vote in the comments. Simple yes or no. Let's see how many of y'all believe these kinds of problems start with coaching. And hey, if you're enjoying how deep we're going here, support the grind by hitting that subscribe button. We're building something real here at Cowboys News TV, a smart, passionate community of fans who want more than just surface-level talk. We're closing in on 15,000 subscribers, and I want you in that number. Coming up next, we're going to bring it all together. The clean slate Jaden Blue deserves, what it'll take for him to stick in Dallas, and why this might be one of the most exciting underdog stories on the roster this season. So now that we've put all the pieces on the table, the talent, the early struggles, the coaching context, and the growth, let's talk about what really matters now, the clean slate. Because no matter what happened at Texas, Jaden Blue is now a Dallas Cowboy. And in this league, your college past doesn't matter unless you let it define you. That monkey on your back, you shake it off the second you walk into that locker room. And that's exactly what this kid needs to do. From here on out, it's about what he does now. Not last year, not against Kentucky. It's about how he practices, how he handles reps in camp, and whether he shows that he's learned from the past. The Cowboys have given him that chance. They drafted him knowing the issue. They've got the tools, the coaching, and the infrastructure to help him clean it up. And if he takes advantage of that, man, this could be one of the best value picks Dallas has made in a long time. Jaden Blue has everything you want in a modern back: speed, balance, vision, and that extra gear when he hits daylight. He's not expected to be the bell cow. Not yet. But the beauty of that is he gets to grow into the role, earn touches, prove it one carry at a time. He's got the physical traits. Now it's about the ball security, the consistency, and proving he can be trusted when the lights are on. And here's the thing, man. I want him to succeed. I want to see a kid who got doubted, got questioned, and maybe got dropped a little too far in the draft. Prove people wrong. I want to see him wear the star with pride and turn that label of fumbler into playmaker. Because the tools are there. The attitude is there. And now, he just needs the reps. So let me ask you straight up. Would you give Jaden Blue a clean slate heading into this season? Let me know in the comments. Drop a yes if you're riding with him, or a no if you still need to see more before jumping on the hype train. I'll be reading every one of your takes. And look, if you've stuck with me through this whole breakdown, I appreciate you more than you know. Hit that like button if you learned something new today. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Cowboys News TV. We're getting real close to that 15,000 subscriber mark, and I want you to be part of that milestone moment. More deep dives, more player breakdowns, more everything Cowboys, every single week. Let's get ready for camp, and let's keep our eyes on Jaden Blue. Because this story, it's just getting started.